Hey, so I watched Yuval Noah Harari come on to Lex Fridman's podcast, and there's a clip going around on Twitter where it shows him explaining conspiracy theories, and he discusses about how groups groups get together and they make plans to rule the world, and that it's hard to rule the world with certain groups and small groups. And that if you look at the invasion of Iraq, it was a complete disaster. And that goes to show that there is no global cabal and there is no group doing planning, because planning in and of itself doesn't work. Now, that is total BS. And I will explain to you how and why. Number one, if you look at every single organization in terms of corporations around the world, they all go to a single boss. They all go to a single family. They all go to a single group. And I would say it would be even harder for you to find me companies where huge groups run like a pyramid structure, like a corporation, like in terms of a CEO. Yes, there are shareholders. Yes, there are stockholders. I am well aware of that. But what I'm saying is that you can basically put an entire Amazon factory or a Walmart into a town, and you don't need to have the best and brightest and that many numbers to run a whole organization. Number two, when he discusses things like Iraq and says that they had the best army, he says this all on Lex Fridman's podcast. He says they have the best army, the best intel, and they went to Iraq and it was a complete disaster since 2003, and this was an embarrassment, and goes to show that there is no way that a small group could be running everything. Yeah, if you're a complete idiot and you think that the lizard overlords go and make plans and attempts to do something, and then they just found it so hard and it was way harder than they expected, if you believe that shit, you've got problems. Because could it be maybe because it's all controlled by narratives? Could it maybe be that they wanted to overthrow a nation and just have it screwed up forever? That's a plan. That's a plan. Is it easy to make the thing happen and then just say it was this and that, why the plan didn't go as planned? That sounds more like it. Lex Fridman is a complete scumbag. He is an establishment little hack, and he just wants to be loved by his elitist overlords. And his shtick and the angle that he runs is to pretend that he's in on it and he's doing it for the good of humanity. The way he constantly simped for Fauci and the House of Science, and how he loves his Neil deGrasse Tyson or whatever. He's a complete hack. When Kanye West said that I don't trust you, it was literally like fireworks went off for that stupid little podcast, for everyone to know that no one trusts the guy. Now, I'm going to stop right there. And I want to say this, is that whenever you ask people who runs the shits, it's the World Economic Forum. And when the representative of the World Economic Forum, Yuval Noah Harari, comes on to Lex Fridman's podcast and says that, yes, there are conspiracies about us, and we are always having the finger pointed at us, but this is just a narrative that is beyond me, and it's been going on since the beginning of time, that people, small group of people, control everything. When he says that, it's like calling El Chapo in to do an interview and him saying, this is what it's like. It's like him being like, oh, yeah, they basically accuse me of making tunnels and running drugs and working different angles using submarines, semi-trucks, depending on where the border is easy for me to run my loads from. Imagine if Chapo was saying that. And you'd be like, of course, you know the jig, you know the game that they're playing. Obviously he's going to admit to it or whatever, but there's no way that, you know, they can prove it. So also what I want to say is that Klaus Schwab and Yuval Noah Harari are the people that are always pointed to whenever they say, is there an Illuminati running everything? Those are the dem boys. Those are the boys. And maybe they're just so stupid that they run an organization that has presidents and prime ministers of countries, and then they just go out and say their stupid plans because they're so dumb. Or he works for the lizards. The blue-blooded lizards that are hiding. Thank you, like and subscribe.